Now, if you live in Florida, you may know we have the third largest inmate population in America, but y'all ever wonder what was the first prison here in Florida? Well, don't worry, I did some digging. Let's get into it. Now, back in 1835, they built this building. This is called the Chattahoochee Arsenal, or the Apalachicola Arsenal. And during the Seminole Wars and the Civil War, they would hold prisoners here to serve out their time. Now, during this time, this place was considered like a military base, all right? But when all of that was over, there was really no need for it anymore. So the state changed it from a military base to like a civil operation, so they could do whatever they want with it now. Now, this is Harrison Reed. He's the governor of Florida at the time. And seeing that the government said, look, all right, this ain't a military post no more. Y'all do what y'all want. He said, why don't we just make it a prison? Keep doing what we was doing. And in 1886, that's exactly what they did. They turned that place into a prison. Now, during the beginning, things were a little bit shaky because they weren't getting government funding. So they had to do things they want. Matter of fact, the warden at the time, he only made $6 a day. Now, mind you, okay, this way back, okay, before the 1900s. So that was a lot of money. But other than that, nobody else really got paid. I think they said the guards got paid like $1, $2 daily. But this is George Franklin Drew. He becomes the new governor of Florida, and he changes things up a little bit. Matter of fact, he changes things up a lot. So, seeing that, the government was not paying these prisons to hold these inmates, they had to raise their own money. So the thing about it is, he came up with an idea, okay? And at this time, he thought it was genius because he said, why don't we use these inmates as like collateral with the state? And if people wanted to like maybe rent our prisoners, we'll let them go ahead and do it. So now, any company, business, whatever, if they needed some cheap labor, they could go to this prison and pick out prisoners to rent for the day, week, month, however long they need them. But the prisoners don't get paid. Y'all see where I'm going with this? Now, the reason why they said they're not paying the prisoners because it's a good way to pay off their, crimes that they committed, and it's a way for them to earn their keep. But I'm going to be honest with you. It just sounds like modern day slavery. Let's just keep it real. Now, over the next couple of years with this process going on, this is, put into place. So they're doing this all the time. But there's a lot of complaints about prisoner conditions, abuse, all kind of stuff going on at this prison. Now, the governor at the time, he's getting all of these complaints, all right? And he really doesn't do anything about it. But he does appoint a new, enforcer, to the prison. Like when the people go out, he's the guy that's watching everybody, like the foreman. But things actually get worse after that. So Higginbotham, well, I don't know if this is, Higginbotham. Every time I'm, Googling it with this Florida prison history stuff, this picture keeps popping up. So we gonna roll with it. Anyway, when he is hired, more complaints come in. Matter of fact, they worse, all right? Some of the inmates are coming back injured. Some of them real fatigued. And they don't really know what's going on. But that is until one day, things change up here at this prison. Now, that's where I got to introduce you to Martin, all right? Martin Tabbert, okay? He gets arrested, small crime, real small. And they give him an option. They say, look, okay, you can either pay $25, okay, or do 30 days with this labor program that they have. So his family, in a rush, I'm talking about super rush, they send him over $50 to pay the $25 for the, fine, and another $25 so he could get home. But the system, okay, court system, they never received that $50 at all. So they sentence him to the 30 days of the, labor. And this is where things really turn for the worse. So now Tabbert is under Higginbotham's care, all right, when he goes out to do these things. But Higginbotham hated Tabbert. And it's probably a good reason, why he hated him. So apparently his parents, they're super paid, all right? They got buku money, and they want to know where their $50 at and why their son still went to prison. So they open up an investigation behind this prison. So now Higginbotham, okay? He hates Tabbert even more now, all right? Because they're investigating this whole thing. So one day out on the job, he goes in on Tabbert. I'm talking about whips, whole nine. I'm talking about bruises, left out in the heat, no food, no water, everything. So Tabbert, he's injured. And the next day, he can't go to work because his leg is injured, all right, from the day prior. But Higginbotham like, nah, get up, go to work. So he forces him out in the field. And while he's out in the field, he literally stops all the prisoners to watch him, okay, get repercussions for being late to work. Yeah, Tabbert passes away that night. Now his family is really pissed because now they want to know what's going on. So, to make a long story short, he gets arrested, put on trial, okay, for murder. He gets acquitted, but like I said, the parents got money, so they went higher than the court system, all right? And they did their own deeper investigation, which he ends up getting arrested and sent to prison. What a coincidence. And real quick, I just want to throw this in here real quick. Y'all know the Higginbotham name out here in Florida, the car dealership? And I think they got some other businesses? Yeah. This they people. Now, all of this went down in 1921, all right? But in 1923, this prison could no longer, use that method with the prisoners. And there was a lot of complaints, a lot of deaths, okay? Black, white, whatever. But the reason why they didn't go any further than that is because nobody had the money to fight this prison except for Tabbert's family. Now, after all of that went down here at, this prison, they changed it later on again to the Florida State Hospital. And I believe it's been that ever since. And I think now it's a historic location. Now, that building is still here, all right? This is what it looks like today. If y'all in the area, all right, of the Chattahoochee Arsenal building, put it in the comments. Let us know if y'all been here. Now, there's a second part of this video. That's the first prison. This is the oldest prison here in Florida. This is Rayford out here in Florida. There's a lot of history here as well. They opened up in 1913, I believe. But things were a little bit different here at this prison. Now, when they first opened, they were supposed to be only for inmates that were injured or had some kind of disabilities that couldn't be rented out, for the cheap labor. But they also were a farm. It was like the first farm prison right here in Florida. And the thing about it is that they treated the inmates a little bit differently than they did at the other prison. So one of the things that they did here was they would package wood, all right? Package it up, send it out for building and stuff like that. This was huge in the area because Florida was building up at the time. So they needed a lot of lumber. Also, they had acres of farmland, all right? So what they would do is they would, all the stuff that they harvested, the produce and stuff, they would eat, but they also would send it out for sale. And this was huge, all right, in the state to get free farm work, from these prisoners. I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but they cared about the well-being of the prisoners in the early stages of this prison. They would wake up in the morning, do exercises with them, make them get up, do things, keep them active, keep them busy. And they say the conditions was a little bit better here, but that didn't last long. No. So apparently, okay, back in the 60s, 70s, they set this place on fire, okay? The prisoners went on strike for poor conditions. And they said, look, we over it. They set it ablaze. Also, seeing that it was one of the first prisons, it also was one of the first prisons with death row, all right? So if your crime was big enough here in Florida, the chair you sit. Matter of fact, your boy Ted Bundy, he was here at Rayford years before they took him out. So, there you go. Now, look, I'm running out of time, all right? But I don't know what y'all gonna do to remember this. Like it, comment, share it. I don't know, but the more you know. Peace.